Hello and welcome. Sorry for the weird start. My computer was being very silly. I don't know, things were crashing. I was trying to close tabs and shit, and then it was like taking forever to. Anyway, I think I need to restart my computer at some point. Bro, you just came in here and now you want to go out? I swear to God, this dog cannot make up his mind. Anyway, we're here. We're reading Remnants of Filth. Guys, I'm so excited though. I'm so excited. One, it's getting like towards the end of the book, and that means things are gonna happen. And like things have been happening, but things are really gonna happen now. But this next chapter is called I Want a Home. I want a home. I'll just kill myself, that's fine. That's okay, I'll just end it all. But yeah. That's what we're doing here today. I have tea. Hopefully it'll cool down in a second. I did have like 10 minutes for it to cool down because of the fucking nonsense that occurred within the stream. But yeah, if you hear some noise going on in the background, don't worry about it. Things are happening in the back. Oh my god, the bitrate. What the fuck is going on? It's in the gray. It's being gray right now. It's being gray and going, you know? That is too hot. Ow, 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 I'm gonna put my hand up. Okay. I don't know why this mug is kind of shit and does not protect me from the heat of the tea. That's crazy. Anyway. I'm just gonna drink water for now. But yeah, Remnants of Filth. Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna let my dog out because he seems to want to get out of this room. You are silly! You are silly. What are you doing? Wait. Stop. No. Stop it. You're disgusting. Get out. Get out. Leave. Leave. Out. Nasty. He was eating dead ants. That guy's disgusting. The fuck? What's wrong with that guy? That's nasty. I kicked him out though. Also, I might have to take B12 at some point because my body does this thing where it's usually in my thighs, but it like if I feel like a burning sensation, my thigh in somewhere in my thigh. It changes spots every now and then, but I feel it. But it's like not. I can't touch it and feel it. It's under my skin. It's weird, but I think it's like a vitamin B deficiency thing. But yeah, I'm debating taking my pills. I don't know why I'm telling you this. It's just lore, okay? It's just lore, and I'm stalling a bit. I'm trying to get my tea to cool down properly. But it's not gonna happen. Is it? Sorry, I just woke up 2 hours ago. I feel great. I burnt my tongue a little. It's fine. Let's just get started. Chapter 25. So where we left off, they're doing this whole detective arc, right? And they're like battling about who can catch the guy first, right? Okay. I'm guessing this is gonna be a detour of some sort. Let's see. Let's see. Page 275. I have not warmed up my voice yet. So I don't know how reading will go today, as I say literally every time, but we'll see. I think my brain, it's the start of the day. I think we'll be okay. I think. Don't quote me on that. Chapter 25, I Want a Home. Let's start. Huh? Sorry, I don't know what's going on. Oh shit. Oh yeah, we just learned about Gumong being fucking tortured in the prison. Okay, I think. Yep, that's where we are. Okay, great, cool. I think I titled this stream correctly. The chamber of ice in the prison was lightless, airless. Its interior was no larger than a cowshed, but the walls were a foot thick, and it was barreled with 3 layers of gates. Every serious case involving the imprisonment and interrogation of unfortunate criminals was conducted within its walls. No gods above, no escape below, a bleak prison cell filled with the midnight wailing of 10,000 ghosts. That was in italics. Who knew how many prisoners had died upon the bone-chilling stone bed in the chamber of ice, and how many years' worth of coagulated blood had seeped into the cracks of the heavy, ice-rimmed bricks. That was beautiful! That was beautiful! That was a beautiful line. Okay. Treat him quickly. Stop the bleeding. It is His Imperial Majesty's command that this person does not die. In the dim prison, the warden irritably gave directions. The healers who answered to him rushed back and forth in the cell, scrambling for spiritual medicines and magical implements, while younger disciples rushed to pour out the bloody water wiped from the wounds. The warden clapped a hand over his forehead, sighing. My God, Wangshu was too vicious. What even happened here? In their frazzled haste, they suddenly heard someone announce from outside, Jihojun has arrived. The warden nearly bit off his own tongue. Wangshu comes, Wangshu goes, Jihe comes after Wangshu goes. Were they the sun and the moon, taking turns to rise in the east and set in the west, not stopping until they had killed Gumang? If he were merely some traitor, they could kill him and no one would care. How many people had ever left an interrogation in the Chamber of Ice alive? But His Imperial Majesty insisted that this person was to remain alive, so if these 2 noble masters kept having their fun, the sucker who'd have to mop up afterward would be him. Cursing inwardly, the warden nevertheless put on a warm and enthusiastic smile to greet his visitor. Ayo, Jihojun's here. This subordinate was too busy to welcome you. I am remiss, and I ask Jihojun to forgive me and not to find fault with someone as... And it cuts off. And then it goes to thoughts or whatever. It's hard to explain it. It cuts off. The quotations end there. Lo, as the subordinate didn't leave his mouth before Moji lifted a hand to cut him off. He didn't spare the warden a single glance as he headed straight to the Chamber of Ice. The warden rushed after him. Jihojun, you can't! Gumang is covered in wounds. He's not even conscious, even if you wanted to interrogate him. I wish to see him. But Jihojun, I said I wish to see him, Moji said angrily. Do you not understand? The warden was stunned. Move aside. How would the warden dare to stop him? He swiftly turned to let Moji pass, then followed right behind. The Chamber of Ice was suffused with bitter cold. The only source of light was a faint blue flame lapping in the skull-shaped lamp Gumang lay. Gumang lay on a stone bed, his white prisoner's garb dyed scarlet, crimson water dripping from the blood grooves in the stone. His face was terrifyingly pale, his eyes wide and unseeing. Moji walked to his side in silence, betraying no perceptible reaction. Wangshu Jun suspected that he had something to do with the Mansion of Beauty's murders, the warden cautiously explained, so he used the draught of confession on Gumang and tried the soul recording spell to dig memories from his head, but nothing worked. What an idiot and a cunt! Fucking kill this guy. Moji made no sound. He gazed at the body on the stone bed. The surrounding healers were hurriedly treating the curse wounds on his body, but Gumang's injuries were numerous and deep. As it stood, they couldn't even slow the bleeding. See, Jihojun? The warden grimaced. As I said, he's close to death. Even if you wanted to interrogate him right now, he wouldn't be able to answer a single question. Earlier, Wangshu Jun used all sorts of methods and still left and still left infuriated, so he likely didn't succeed either. Why don't you return another day? Get out. The warden blinked. Get out! The warden scrambled toward the door, his face contorted. He watched Moji drive off the healers one after another, and it took all his courage to shout at Moji's retreating back. Jihujin, His Imperial Majesty wants Gumong alive. Remember to have some mercy. Jihujin had already lowered all 3 gates with a wave of his hand. The warden suppressed the urge to weep as he instructed to his disciples. Go get that divine tincture of life I kept at the bottom of that one chest. Once Jihujin comes out, I suspect only divine tincture of life will keep that little traitor alive. Hydrate. I'll hydrate. Water. Sorry, okay, continuing. The room was now empty save for 2. This narrow, sealed world was just as the folk song said. No gods above, no escape below. The walls were a foot thick, separating those within from the rest of the world, leaving only Gumong and Moji. Sorry. I'm sorry, I'm excited. I just love them. I'm sorry. Oh, they're so... Okay. Moji walked to the side of the bed, lowering his lashes to look at Gumong's face. After a few moments of stillness, he abruptly reached out and lifted him to sitting. Okay, it's fine. I have to get through this. I have to get through it. Okay. Gumong. Moji's mouth opened and closed slightly. His face was still as stagnant as water. His face was still as stagnant water, but his hands were trembling. You'd better wake up. This is so good. This is flavor. It is seasoned so well. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! The flavor. Okay. Oh my god. Gumong's only response was to stare from those unfocused eyes. Both the draught of confession and the soul recording spell devastated their target's mind. It wasn't as bad if they obediently confessed, but if they happened to resist, they would feel as if their organs were burning and their innards were tearing apart. Many strong, unyielding individuals might withstand beating and torture, but these 2 truth-compelling techniques would still drive them crazy. Furthermore, Moji knew that the Lao Kingdom often casts forbidden secret-keeping spells on the bodies of their soldiers and generals to keep military secrets from being divulged. If such forbidden Lao techniques had clashed with Muronglian's soul recording spell, they would doubtless result in double the agony. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him before he has a chance to die from Moji. Because I know Moji's gonna kill him, but I'm talking about Muronglian. I know Moji's gonna end up killing him, or he's just gonna die in the stupidest way, or like he's gonna die of his own faults. Like it's gonna be his fault. But I want to kill him. Please. Oh my god, I can't wait to hear it. Can't wait to read his death. He does slay, but I also want to see him being slain. Very much. Moji swallowed thickly. This was the first time he had seen what interrogation did to Gumong with his own eyes. It hurt. It hurt so much. Gumong had betrayed him, had tried to kill him. His hands were stained with blood, and his crimes could never be pardoned. But this was also the man who had once abandoned everything before the throne, caring nothing for his life, his rank, or his future prospects, as he fearlessly shouted at the Emperor merely so his soldiers could be properly buried. This was also the man who had once kept Moji company by a bonfire, roasting meat and chatting with him, smiling at and teasing him, as Moji sat wordless by his side. This was also the man who had once in bed murmured to Moji that he loved him. That spirited, valiant war god's body had seemed as if it would never cool. That youthful, brilliant young man who seemed as if he would blaze passionately all his life. Yet all that remained was this scarred and wounded ruin in front of Moji's eyes. At that, a thought occurred to Moji, clear as day. He had been away from the capital for a full 2 years. In that time, how many interrogations of this sort had taken place? So many people wanted to pry words from Gumong's mouth and obtain the secrets of the Lao kingdom. Exactly how many times had he been brutalized beyond the pains of death? How many times had Gumong's agonized howling gone unheard? As Moji's pain deepened, his reason was swiftly disappearing. The two of us will always be together, no matter how hard. I will endure it to the end. Shidi. That was all in italics. Moji squeezed his eyes shut, suddenly no longer able to bear it. Clenching his jaw, he pulled Gumong into his arms. Radiance gathered in his hands as he pressed them against Gumong's back and passed the purest, most potent spiritual energy he possessed into that blood-stained body. I'm done! I'm done! Oh my god! It's too good. It's so beautiful. I can't. I need to continue. Okay, hang on. Let me take a tea break. Oh my god. 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 It's happening. That is good tea. Tastes like apples, but it is not. Moji knew he shouldn't do it. He would be discovered, and he had no way to explain why he'd rushed into it. He'd rushed in to personally heal Gumong's wounds. He understood that he should give Gumong over to the prison's healers. The people wouldn't defy the Emperor's orders and let Gumong come to further harm, and Muranglian's work might not have been fatal. But Moji couldn't hold back. His heart seemed to have been snatched away and torn apart, tormented as it had been by more than a decade of love and hatred, unanswered yearning, and stubborn attachment. Attachment! Are you pulling a Javik? Are we pulling a Javik right now in front of my fucking salad? Attachment. Oh no, it was affection. My bad. They both start with an A. Still, the point stands. Oh my god. It was as though if he didn't take hold of this body before him, if he didn't personally pass him spiritual energy, he would be the one to die in this chamber of ice. Most of the wounds on Gumong's body had come from Muranglian's holy weapon, and they healed with awful slowness. In the process of stopping the bleeding and treating Gumong's injuries, Moji's military robes were almost entirely soaked. As Gumong's limbs gradually began to recover, he unconsciously began to shudder, his bloody hands quivering incessantly. There's an illustration on this page, by the way, of this moment. Of Moji holding Gumong real tight, and he is really upset. He's really upset. Oh boy. After a long while, Gumong started to mumble. I don't know. I don't know anything. Moji had been silent this whole time, not saying a single word as he held Gumong. He didn't dare to be too intimate, as if any closeness were a colossal sin. But he refused to let go. He felt his own heart would stop if he did. He closed his eyes, slowly sending vigorous spiritual energy into Gumong's body. Other than Gumong's half-conscious mumbling, There were no other sounds in the chamber of ice. Eventually, amid this hush, Moji heard him mutter something new. Fuck. Fuck. I want, uh... Moji was stunned. What? Gumung's voice softened further, almost as faint as a mosquito's buzz, tearful, trembling, shaking. Home. This final word drifted down soft as willow fluff, but it exploded in Moji's ears like a clap of thunder. Moji stared down at Gumung's face and found that his eyes were tightly closed. His long dark lashes, laid over the purplish shadows below his eyes, were wet. Gumung had choked out these words in a dream. That's a scene break. Hey guys, that's a scene break. That's a scene break. That's a scene break, and we're going into a flashback. Okay, get ready. Everyone drink a sip of your tea, you know, take a lap or something. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready for the flashback. All right. Okay. I'm ready. Are you ready? Hold on. I need tissues just in case. Okay. Many years ago, Moji had once kissed Gumung's fingers in the throes of love and desire, and said earnestly, "I've been named Jihujun by the Emperor. In the future, I'll never need to bow to my uncle's whims again. No one can make me do anything. No one can stop me from doing anything. I will achieve everything that I promised you. Wait for me. I mean it." Not a wait for me plot. Before this moment, Moji had never dared to speak of meaning it or the future to Gumung, because Gumung had always looked as if he didn't care, and like he didn't believe him. But on that day, Moji became Jihujun. He was no longer merely the young Mo Gongzi under the thumb of his uncle. He finally had the courage to promise a future to his beloved, as if he'd saved up long enough to afford a presentable treasure, and was carefully and cautiously offering it to the one he loved with wholehearted delight, in hopes it would be accepted. Moji wanted to carve out his entire heart. He wanted to swear all the oaths. He wanted to swear all the oaths in the world just for a word of acknowledgement from Gumung. Moji had said so many things that day in their bed. Gumung had smiled as he patted Moji's hair and let Moji fuck him relentlessly, unstoppably. Okay. Just gonna sit on that for a little bit. Or not a little bit, a lot of bit for this guy. Okay, sorry, okay. He seemed to listen to and understand everything, yet he also seemed to find his little Shidi merely adorable, a little dummy. No matter how fierce Moji became, no matter if he was or wasn't Jihujun, his Gumung Gugu would cherish and indulge him for a lifetime. Stop! What do you like? What do you want? Moji asked. Gumung didn't say anything, didn't ask for anything. In the end, after the point Moji couldn't count how many times he'd come inside Gumung. Oh, I'm sorry. Wow. I did not read ahead of that lyric word. Oh my god. Woo! What? It just came out. Oh, a lot of things came out actually. I did not read that with the context in mind. Oh my god, okay. That wasn't the end of the sentence. After the point Moji couldn't count how many times he'd inside Gumong, after he'd fucked Gumong into tearful delirium, Gumong spoke. Sorry. That was so unexpected. It's like so soft, and then they pull out the cream pies. Sorry. Oh my god, I love this book. Okay. Gumong spoke. Whether because his thoughts were scattered or because he was completely spent, Gumong tilted his head back to gaze at the inky swirls of the hui-patterned canopy and mumbled, I want a home. And this is the moment that I kill myself. Alright, see ya never, because I'm gonna go, I have something to do real quick. Yeah. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. Man, we're on the first chapter. Not the first chapter, but the first chapter of the stream. This is insane. We're not gonna get through a lot today, it seems. Oh my god. Moji was stunned. Hang on. I thought it was ready and I wasn't. Moji was stunned. He suspected he would never, in his life, forget Gumong's expression when he said these words. Gumong had always been such a smiling, carefree man, but when he said this, he didn't dare to look Moji in the eye. He was such a confident person, but in that moment, only hesitance and fear remained. It was as if Gumong was begging for something unspeakably precious, pleading for a fantasy he could never hope to attain. After saying this, Gumong closed his eyes, tears rolling down from their reddened rims. Moji wasn't quite sure whether they were the tears Gumong usually shed when they went to bed. Moji realized then, with impossible clarity, that the invincible General Gu was, in the end, still an orphan slave. He had been beaten and cursed at for more than 20 years without a true home that he could call his own, without a single person he could call family. Moji felt a painful pressure in his heart, an unbearable ache. He leaned down, pressing his lips to Gumong's wet and trembling mouth. In the space between their gasping breaths, he stroked Gumong's hair and whispered, Okay, I'll give it to you. Y'all, the rest is in italics. The rest of this fucking chapter is in italics, except for some parts. Okay, here we go. I will give it to you. I will give you a home. This is the first time you've asked me for anything. Even if it's a joke, even if it's nonsense, I'll take it seriously. I know your life has been horribly sad. So many people have bullied you, toyed with you, so you don't dare accept what others give you. You don't dare believe what others promise you. But I would never lie to you. Wait for me. Wait for me. I'll do my best. Upon battlefields of blood, I'll make my name. I'll use all my war-won merits for the right to be with you. Wait for me. I will give you a home. Moji's past self had fervently, naively made this promise in his heart. It won't take too many years. It won't be too long. I will give you a home. I want to stay with you always. Heartsore, the young Moji had stroked his Gumongaga's face, begging him with such imploring need. Gumong, wait a little longer for me, won't you? Fine. That's the end of the chapter. cry so much. Ahem. I can't do this anymore. Oh, why are they so hurt? Why is so much angst in this? Oh my god. What a fucking bitch. He's been on this you betrayed me thing for so long. He's such. I actually hate Moji. What the fuck, Moji? You're an idiot and stupid and bitch ass selfish little prick. You don't even know anything about Gumong. You don't know him. If you knew him, you would understand why he betrayed you. You'd understand! I hate him. The next chapter, chapter 26, is called Secretly Watching Over You. Let's just get into it, I guess. When Moji exited the Chamber of Ice, the warden felt his soul was about to evaporate. After Wang Shijun, the Cruel, had come to interrogate Gumong earlier, he'd come out wearing a set of pristine sapphire blue robes. Even the moonstone pendant on his chest had been perfectly straight. But once the warden had gone in to look, good heavens, Gumong had been drenched in blood. Wang Shijun had left Gumong in that terrible state without getting a drop of gore on himself, so if Jihujin's martial robes were completely soaked through, then didn't that mean Gumong was... At this thought, the warden's knees went weak, and he nearly fell to the floor. Fortunately, a nearby disciple stepped in to support him in time, so he managed to remain upright, if barely, as he shakily bowed to Moji. Jihujin, safe travels. Moji stalked wordlessly out of that cold and ghastly prison corridor, his face ashen, lips pursed. He didn't look back. Those military boots inlaid with iron plating clicked crisply against the icy brick. Divine tincture of life! Divine tincture of life! Hurry up! Hurry up! Hurry up! The warden's hands shook as he grasped this spiritual medicine and could regrow flesh and reverse necrosis. Leading a dense flock of healers, he rushed into the Chamber of Ice. Before he could get his bearings, he stopped short, shocked. Gumong lay on the stone bed, covered by a warm black and gold fur coat. His thin face, visible within the depths of the fur, was clean. The disciple was shocked. Shifu, what happened? The warden swept a glance over the coat, and his gaze landed on the intricate golden snake totem on its sleeves. His heart pounded. Wasn't that the insignia of the Northern Frontier Army? Come to think of it, Moji had plainly worn a warm greatcoat when he entered the prison, but when he left, he had been wearing a practical set of fitted black robes. So was it possible that this coat was... Swallowing, the warden took a few steps forward and timidly lifted the corner of the coat. Gumong was curled up asleep underneath, his breath even and his wounds no longer bleeding. The warden was astonished. He had a faint feeling that something wasn't quite right. But when he thought of Moji's usual countenance of icy pride, and then of how Gumong had once mercilessly stabbed Moji, this brazen conjecture was rapidly extinguished. The disciple craned his neck for a better look. After staring for several seconds, he jerked back in surprise. Isn't that Jihujin's outer robe? The warden didn't immediately respond. Shifu, don't they say Jihujin is a clean freak, that he never lets anyone touch his belongings? The warden turned, rather speechless. Don't tell me you think he wants this coat back? Oh, the disciple scratched his head in embarrassment. Of course not. After a second, his curiosity got the better of him once again. But didn't Jihujin come to interrogate Gumong? Why would he treat a prisoner so well? it's not like he's an official with it's a different person. It's not like oh my god. It's not like he's an official with a penchant for torture. Although the warden was still apprehensive, he had a keen understanding of what should and shouldn't be speculated on. Patting the little disciple's shoulder, he said meaningfully, "Not everyone is as fond of bloodshed as Wang Shujun." Oh. The warden turned to give instructions to the rest. "With regard to what transpired today, you must all be careful. Don't spread word of it to outsiders." He shot another glance at the flying snake flashing gold on the fur coat and lowered his voice. "Remember, too much talk brings trouble." Scene break. Scene break, and 1 second, I'm getting notifications. Okay. I can reply later. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Okay. Moji walked along the snowy main road. The west wind whipped across his face. He didn't have a coat, but somehow he didn't feel chilled. His penetrating gaze was all ablaze, and his heart thundered like a drum as Gumong's low murmur reverberated endlessly in his ears. "I want a home." A spark seemed to have landed on the mess of kindling that was his heart. The flames roared up from his chest and burned so fiercely that even the rims of his eyes reddened slightly. Moji's belief that Gumong's mind might not have been damaged rooted even deeper. Why else would he mumble those words in his delirium? It's because you were the person, you were the only one that could see it because his true intentions and his true wants and, oh my god, his true desires. And you're so stupid. The flames dancing in his chest were both torment and hope. He was so caught up in his thoughts that he didn't notice his blood-soaked clothes attracting the furtive glances of passerbys. The snow fell faster, but the light in Moji's eyes only grew brighter. He decided that no matter what, once this case concluded, he had to wrest Gumong from Muranglian. Only then could he observe Gumong from dawn till dusk. Only then could he determine if Gumong truly was faking stupidity or whether he was genuinely insane. As he walked, consumed by these thoughts, a sudden shrill scream rose in the distance. Moji stopped and looked up, searching for the source of the sound. The capital was in a state of high alert, so he hastened in the direction of the scream. It was a tavern. The chairs and tables were splintered and broken, and a good number of wine jugs piled in the corner were smashed. Aged pear blossom wine seeped into the floor, and the sharp scent of alcohol pervaded the room. The customers were pushing and shoving one another to run out. Only a few cultivators who'd happened to be drinking there were still on the premises. They were in a private room on the second floor, and their number included Yue Chenqing. Yue Chenqing, my guy. Yue Chenqing had a hand pressed over a still bleeding wound on his arm. "Ah, no!" And he was cursing furiously. This was a true rarity. He had a good temper and wasn't easily angered, but in the moment, Yue Chenqing was fair smoking with rage, his mouth full of frustration. "Scaredy cat, little turtle, no friend at all!" Being a simple and cheerful person who so rarely cursed at people, he repeated the only swear words he knew over and over again. Among which even little turtle counted as profanity. I love him so much. I'm sorry, this next line is so stupid. Good heavens, it hurts. Good heavens. Goodness gracious. I'm sorry, I love him so much. Hold on. Oh my god. Baby. Okay. Good heavens, it hurts. I can't even see. I can't see because I'm laughing. Okay. Moji reached the second floor with all speed, where he bumped straight into Yue Chen-ching, who still shouted with anger. Big bad dog. When the young man raised his head, he found that he had happened to curse directly at Moji. Moji stared at him. I'm sorry, I know this is like a tense moment. This is fucking hilarious. Yuan Chen-ching was startled, his round eyes growing even wider. Zhihujun, how come you're here? I wasn't referring to you. What happened? Moji's gaze swept over Yuan Chen-ching. You're injured? Yes. There was a formidable man in black here a second ago who flipped in through the window to kidnap the tavern's Zhao Shui Jeje. Zhao Shui Jeje? I think that's right. I think the C is a S sound. Yue Chen-ching spoke in a rush. Zhao Shijiju is always so cute. Every time we buy wine, she gives the bros extra. Sometimes she even gives us peanuts and kidney bean cakes, even though kidney bean cakes aren't that tasty. But still, get to the point. Oh, right, the point. Yue Chen-ching molded over, still steaming mad. The point is, as soon as I noticed things weren't right, I rushed up to stop the man in black with a few of my friends. But that ruffian used some kind of strange demonic techniques. I couldn't even touch his sleeve before he slashed me with his sword. Some friends I've got. Some friends I got. As soon as they saw me injured, they all ran off. Can you believe it? They're all little turtles. He got. Until he looked as though he was about to spit blood. It turns out the Changhua Youth Society is a gang of peonies. Seriously, they're so shallow. Moji was speechless. The Changhua Youth Society was a little group that consisted of Yue Chen-ching and a crowd of young juniors. A crowd of Gongzi bros whose hobbies were social climbing and putting on airs, and who spent their days parading themselves around together. Even secretly gave themselves Jianghu? So sobriquets, things like Proud Dragon and Brocade Tiger. Moji had always felt that this was very stupid, and upon hearing Yue Chen-ching decry them, he naturally added his own stern rebuke. I told you not to mess around with those people, but you wouldn't listen. Is your wound serious? It's fine. Yue Chen-ching wore a lifeless expression. It's just that I feel such bitter disappointment over my brother's betrayal. The parallel? Sorry. Now I can find. Oh my god, stupid bitch! It's so stupid and I love him. I said it as a joke, but he's saying it seriously. Oh my god. Now I can finally experience what you felt, Ji-Hejun, back when you. He realized mid-sentence that he was headed in a dangerous direction and hastily shut his mouth, peering wide-eyed at Moji. Moji considered for a moment, then asked, where did the man in black go? I don't know. He moved too quickly. He didn't even seem human. There was just a whoosh, and even his shadow had disappeared. Oh, my poor Zhao Ji-Hejun, do you think he was that two-pump jump guy? Moji frowned. What? Only then did Yue Chen-ching realize that, given how busy Moji had been, he definitely hadn't heard that particular storyteller's embellished version of the brothel murder case. I meant that Mansion of Beauty's murderer, he explained. Let me take a look at your wound. Feeling sorry for himself, Yue Chenqing showed him. Moji examined Yue Chenqing's injury, his sharp brows furrowing deeper. It's the water parting sword. Sorry, tea break. Da-da-da-da-da. Yue Chenqing stared. The water parting sword, Zongxi Li Qingqian? He asked in astonishment. Mozi shook his head, neither confirming nor denying. All he said was, Go home for now. The capital has been especially chaotic recently. Unless you have an urgent matter to attend to, don't go running around outside. My dad went to Rongliu Mountain to cultivate in seclusion, and my fourth uncle is so aloof he ignores me completely. I can't stay in that manner alone. Then go to your brother's. Yue Chenqing hesitated, then mumbled, He's not my brother. Yue Chenqing had been influenced by the Yue clan since he was young, so his impression of Jiang Yezhu wasn't particularly good. He thought of him as a good-for-nothing who'd brought shame to the Yue clan, but he couldn't say as much in front of Moji, so he was compelled to change the subject. Right, Jihujin, where did you come from? Why are your clothes all bloody? Moji looked down. After a long while, he said, I dealt with someone. Dealt with someone? Judging by those red-soaked robes, Jihujin might have beaten that person to death. Sorry, my nose stuff is affecting my throat. Where was I? He's not my brother. He's not my brother. No more questions, Moji said. Can you draw a portrait of the girl who was taken, that Miss Zhao Sui? Yes, let me give it a try. Yue Chenqing asked the tavern's proprietress for paper and a brush. I don't know why I stopped on that word. At once, a youthful girl's features appeared in vivid detail on the paper. Moji watched from the side, but even up until the last brushstroke, he couldn't identify what was special about this maiden. Just as he was planning to ask the proprietress about her background, Yue Chenqing seized the brush he had set down. Wait a minute, something's missing. He hastily added a mole at the end of Zhao Sui's eyes. One eye. Only then did he pronounce himself satisfied. Right, now it's perfect. Moji widened his eyes slightly. She has a mole too. Huh? What do you mean two? Who else has one? Of the 5 escorts taken from the Mansion of Beauties, said Moji, one of them had a similar mole. As he explained to Yue Chenqing, a thought occurred to him. As far as the R-wordist was concerned, his eye mole might be an extremely important attribute. It might have even brought that prostitute's survival. He was still considering this when he heard Yue Chenqing speak up hesitantly once more. Actually, Jihujin, there's something else I wanted to tell you. Speak. Well, I might be mistaken, but when I was crossing blows with the man in black, I couldn't see his face, but I kept feeling that he had a certain odor, something I'm very familiar with. What odor? Moji asked. Where did you smell it before? It's not quite an odor. It's more a type of... I don't know how to describe it. A type of aura. I felt like I'd experienced it somewhere before, but I was fighting too intently, and he left too quickly, so I didn't have time to carefully analyze it before he disappeared. Yue Chenqing sighed. Shihujin, do you think he really is that Mansion of Beauty's murderer? I can't be sure. Wuji thought about it further and said, How about this? Yue Chenqing, go to Shenong Terrace to get your wounds treated, then stop by the Bureau of Public Safety and pass on a message. What message? If my guess is correct, the R-wordist is looking for women with certain characteristics. Moji said, studying Zhao Tui's portrait. The eye mole ought to be one of them. Have the Bureau of Public Safety inform the city and ask maidens who share those characteristics to go to the Bureau for temporary protection. Oh, okay, Yue Chengqing agreed. He was about to leave when he thought of something and turned on his heel. Right, Jihujin, I heard Murong Daga received His Imperial Majesty's authorization to interrogate Gumong whenever he wanted. Did you know about that? It seems like Gumong is still useful to you, Jihujin, but if Murong Daga goes to interrogate him, I'm afraid he'll interrogate him half to death. Do you want to? It's of no consequence. Moji shook his head, unconsciously caressing a black silver thumb ring as his eyes slowly darkened. When he had treated Gumong's wounds just now, he had planted a tracking talisman exclusively to the Mo clan within his body. So long as it was active, whenever anything unusual happened to Gumong, this silver ring would heat up and tell Moji where Gumong was, as well as his condition. Okay. That's definitely not gonna come up again. At a pivotal moment. Where was I? He very truly had no wish to see Gumong in the aftermath of such torture again. I've already made my preparations, Moji said. Whatever Murong Lian does next, I'll know about it. You needn't worry. After leaving Yue Chengqing, Moji returned to his manor, where he again took out the jade scroll with the likeness of those 5 prostitutes. He placed Zhao Xui's portrait next to the songstress with an eye mole and stared at the other 4 faces. None of the other 4 had any noteworthy features. There was no way to discern further details from these paintings. But that didn't remain the case for long. As the number of missing women in the city steadily increased, Jihe Manor received more and more portraits. Once they were sorted, their similarities became apparent. For example, their lips had the same shape, or their noses were identical. Based on these patterns, Moji had the Imperial Guards invite every woman with these attributes to the Bureau of Public Safety for protection. Soon after, women stopped going missing. Only a few maidens who hadn't yet been taken into custody by the Bureau were kidnapped by the artist now and again. Instead, it was the cultivators who started to worry. If Chun Tian Terrace's elder Yu was no match for that scoundrel, what would we do if he tried to carve out our hearts? I've become too scared to cultivate alone in the woods. As the year came to an end, the year? And Gumong is still in this prison? As the year came to an end, the usual hustle and bustle of Changhua City ground to a halt. People went out only in groups and rushed back home before night fell, and the Yue clan's barrier talismans sold faster than ever. Many of those who failed to snag a talisman in time refused to sleep apart from their weapons. As for those who couldn't afford the talismans, they could only cry and shout and beg at the gates of Yue Manor for mercy to let them buy on credit and pay them back later. Yue Chengqing wasn't entitled to make decisions regarding such things. His father was away, so his paternal uncle came out to furiously shoo off all the penniless little cultivators. "The hell is this?" he cursed at them. "Who do you think you are, behaving like this before an elite cultivator's manor? Your manor's talismans are unbreakable. They're worth what we charge and no less. Can't afford it? Go borrow money from your brothers and friends." The storytellers were too afraid to tell stories anymore. Besides, the situation was getting worse and worse, so who would dare come to listen and laugh? The red paste paper outside Yue Lai Tea House that said, "Enraged brothel guest kills 70, gradually disintegrated in the wind and snow." Rainwater soaked into the brushstrokes, rendering the words forever illegible. Then one night, it stopped snowing. The capital was an expanse of pure moonlight. Moji sat in Jehud Manor's courtyard, reading the intelligence Sorry. Moji sat in Jehud Manor's courtyard, reading the intelligence reports that had accumulated in the past few days as he unconsciously spun and caressed the silver soaring snake ring on his thumb. He had often found himself doing this of late. The tracking ring felt like a secret, selfish tie linking him to Gumong, and he was only at ease when it was safe. However, on that silent night, just as he was about to roll up a scroll and retire, the ring burned with searing heat. What did I say? Yeah, okay. Moji immediately looked down to see the snake insignia on the ring begin to twist and turn, slowly transforming into an arrow that pointed toward the southwest of the capital. The silver snake's body began to change color, flickering and gleaming until every one of its scales finally flashed jade green. Is this a Howl's Moving Castle, situation? Oh no. Oh no. The scales turning green meant the one being tracked had been drugged. This wasn't unexpected. Muronglion often gave the prisoners he interrogated a variety of illusion-inducing medicines. The issue lay in the direction. The prison was not in the southwest of the capital. Rather, that was where the resting place of Chenghua's heroes lay. Warrior Soul Mountain. Why would Gumong be taken from the prison and be sent toward Warrior Soul Mountain? Practically simultaneous to this thought, Moji saw golden light burst from every guard barrier in the capital as a warning bell in the imperial city rang out. Clang, 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 one chime after another, 13 in total before it stilled. A dangerous criminal had broken out of prison. Gumong had escaped. Well, that's a question mark and exclamation mark. That's the end of the chapter. That's the end of that chapter. And wow. We will read one more chapter. Just one more. But I will take a short little break now to get tea, and also an ad is starting soon, so I'm just gonna refresh my tea, walk around for a little bit, and come back. Oh my god. Okay. This is fine. This is fine. Everything is fine. Oh my god. Okay, I'll be right back. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I'm back. I have more hot water in my tea. I hope your ad was okay. Oh boy. I'm not gonna lie, my jaw is getting tired from reading. But that's fine, because I really want to read this next chapter. I really want to read it, and it's not that long. I think these past 2 chapters are pretty long. Yeah. Compared to the other ones, they're... Actually, no, I just talked a lot through them. Reading, Lamau. From reading! What else have I been doing here? Oh my god. What the fuck, man? This guy's crazy. Okay. Let me stretch a bit. Y'all should stretch too. What's gonna happen? Also, I do that thing where I kind of scream and the vocal fry comes out. It's not vocal fry. It's like when I go crazy with my voice like that, it kind of hurts a little. My tea is steaming. It's not tea, it's just watered down. It is tea, technically. It's just the remainder of my tea plus more water and more honey. So it's just a lot more watered down. It's like flavored honey water, more like. But anyway, how you doing? How's your day going? How are we feeling after Arcade ended? Oh my god. It's fine. It's fine. Gaming, real. I see you opening and closing all your gains. Indecisive. Much. After Arcane, yeah. Arcane's crazy. Arcane. Arcane. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, I'm looking at my text to speech kind of not text. What am I saying? Subtitles. My subtitles. My the captions. Captions. I'm looking at my captions and it keeps saying arcade. What? It says arcade or hurricane, but it's arcane. There we go. I don't know what to do. You seem a little bored. Good. Love your side. Only I get it. Only I get it. Or should I do my friend on screen? I don't know. I don't know. Do. Go take a shit. I think you need it. My family's some relative. No, just one relative. Well, a very small portion of my family's coming over tomorrow for like a dinner thing. And it's gonna be great. It's fine. It's just that my one cousin who's coming over, we're both really not good at speaking very much. So every time he comes over, I'm like, okay, what the fuck am I supposed to talk to him about? And this year is gonna be Arcane because he kind of, when he found out that I hadn't watched Arcane like a couple months ago, he was like, what the fuck? No, he didn't say what the fuck because he's Christian. He said, why? You would love it. I was like, yeah, I know. And then I did watch it and I did love it and I hate myself, but I do love it. So yeah, I guess we can talk about that. I'm just waiting for my tea to cool. Nope. You know when you inhale the steam and you're like, nope, that's too hot. You know what, let's just drink some regular water for now. And get started on chapter 27. Dream of Longing. Dream of Longing! Okay. Page 297. Whew, okay. The situation was far too urgent for Moji to personally inform the Emperor. He sent a messenger butterfly winging to the palace and took the initiative to rush to the foot of Warrior Soul Mountain. At the entrance, he found that the 2 cultivators guarding the mountain were already dead. Their eyeballs had been gouged out and their hearts taken as well. They had died in the same way as Elder Yu. Yeah, they did. The ring on Moji's hand grew hotter and hotter, and it pointed straight at that blood-splattered mountain path. Moji stared at the ring for a moment, gritting his teeth. Gumong, is it really you? He swept straight up the mountain, blood rushing cold. The terrain of Warrior Soul Mountain was difficult to traverse. Its cloud-encircled peak was the resting place for generations and dynasties of Chonghwa's heroes. It was said that, in the dead of night, the whinnying of war horses and the clanging of copper bells still sounded from the mountain, as if to lend credence to the legend. To the legend that so long as the fires of war burned across the 9 provinces, the souls of Chonghwa's heroes would know no peace. I'm gonna try my tea now. My throat is feeling grainy. Okay, it's okay. Let's go! Many magical navigation devices were befuddled by the mountain's flow of spiritual energy and would fail to point in the correct direction. Even Moji's silver ring was affected, recalibrating many times before it spun once more. Moji arrived at the foothills of Warrior Soul Mountain and stopped, staring at the faint mist that suffused the dense forest. "Dream of longing," he murmured. Indeed, this was no ordinary mist, but rather the dream of longing technique which only elite Lao Kingdom cultivators could use. This illusion could transform one's true surroundings into an entirely new world. If the technique detected your desires and you sunk within them, your mind would be left vulnerable to destruction. Oh boy. Oh boy. Moji, however, had fought many Lao Kingdom spellcasters who used Dream of Longing on the battlefield. Resisting it wasn't particularly arduous for him. The needle tip of the ring was pointing right into the thick of it, which could only mean that Gumong was currently within that illusory mist from Dream of Longing. Moji had to enter. He pondered this for a spell before lifting his head and gravely intoning Illusion Butterfly. A messenger butterfly materialized in response to his summons. "Report the location and situation to His Imperial Majesty," Moji said. "I will go forth to investigate. Have him send assistance." The butterfly fluttered its wings, and in a blink, it disappeared into the depths of the mountain forest. Moji stepped into the dense, unrelenting fog. He was surrounded by a white haze so thick it was difficult to see his own fingers. "Gumong!" he shouted. "Gumong, come out!" Moji's voice echoed in the mist. After a moment, soft laughter floated out from the damp, chilly murk. "Shihujin." The speaker was not Gumong. He sighed. "Ah, how interesting. I did sense a foreign spiritual flow in my captive beast of the altar. It seems you've put a tracking talisman on him." "Who are you, good sir?" Moji asked carefully. "Jihujin's been investigating the brothel case for so long. Doesn't he have an inkling as to who I am?" That shadowy figure was vague in the mist, appearing for a flash then disappearing immediately thereafter. But in that brief flash, Moji had struck. A barrage of blazing fireballs hurled forward with a resounding boom. "Ayo," a hum came from the thick of the mist. After another few moments, the voice sighed. "Jihujin, the ruthless god of war, truly lives up to his name." He let out an eerie, ominous laugh. "You really do have a terrible temper." A muscle in Moji's jaw jumped. "Where's Gumong? What is your relationship to him?" "I don't have any relationship with him. As for who I am, aren't all those tales being spread in Changhua City?" The person spoke with relish, as if describing something he found incomparably interesting. "They say I R-word brothel girls, or that I'm a runaway cook from Lome Pavilion." He laughed loudly, the sound reverberating in mist that grew thicker and thicker. They're really so fascinating. I've heard a great many. I even told one myself." He told one himself? That is the book and also me. "That's right," the man continued with an indolent lilt, as if he could see Moji's slightly widened eyes. "I was bored of lazing around, so I dressed up as a storyteller and slipped into a tea house to tell tales. I said I'd mounted 70 victims in one night, but that friend of yours, young Yegongzi, didn't enjoy my performance at all. It is so... I'm worried about him now. I'm really worried about your Chun-Ching. He wanted to gossip about a two-pump chump. What a naughty child. So, you were actually... then the real storyteller. I killed him, of course, the man said carelessly. I think I threw him into a dry well afterward, or maybe a burial mound. Sorry, I've killed so many people, it's a bit of a blur. He's kinda... he's kinda... you know? He laughed again. Speaking of, you're certainly more reliable than that Wang Shujun. All he knows is how to let his imagination run wild. Once he came up with his own conclusion, he tripped over himself trying to pry proof of it from the prisoner's mouth. You knew better. You properly analyzed those few sword marks I left on the bodies. The man paused and asked, nigh delighted. So, did you figure it out? Are you really Li Qingchan? Moji's voice was low and fiery. The man was still for a few moments, the thick fog rolling, before he unexpectedly burst into giggles. His laughter grew louder and eerier, resounding endlessly around them, its source impossible to pin down. Li Qingchan! Li Qingchan! Ha 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 ha. This name seems to have pricked a sore spot in his heart. The laughter wretched from his throat was like reeling vultures, circling without case. I'm not. His voice suddenly tightened, sharp, amid the lingering echoes. The first chapter of the water-parting sword manual says, the benevolent blade parts for water. The benevolent blade parts water, the righteous blade cuts sorrow, compassion despite lowliness, resilience against 1,000 hardships. How ridiculous, how wretched, how pathetic. Li Zongxi. Where am I? Li Zongxi who? He's nothing more than a penniless miser, a useless good-for-nothing, a pathetic pedant. A pathetic pedant. Pedant? Pedant? Shut the fuck up. No. I forgot it was hot. He continued to curse and rage for a long while until he gradually calmed down. In the freezing, silent mist, he snapped, I'm so sick of you hypocrites. You're unquestionably tainted by all three poisons, greed, wrath, and ignorance, but you remain trapped by cowardly indecision, all for the sake of your precious reputation. Danger had filled his voice. Moji could not have been more sensitive to killing intent, and his eyes were instantly wary. Shuairan, come. Shuairan, come. My bad. A beam of red light flashed, and the holy snake whip hissed into his hand. Oh, Shuairan, the man snorted. So strong, its power is earth-shattering. Unfortunately, I think you won't need it here. Moji said nothing. I can't defeat you in a fight. Who is speaking? Who is speaking? Okay, I can't defeat you in a fight, so I won't bother trying. However, I've had the luck to overhear some of your secrets. I've no shortage of ways to trap you. For example... The man paused, then asked in a tone filled with curiosity. Back when Gu Meng was locked up at Lome Pavilion, did you or did you not tell him that the lotus tattoo on his neck was your doing? Moji's blood ran cold. He ground his teeth. What exactly are you? Don't be in such a rush to ask that. Why don't I ask you this first? No, why don't I ask you first? The voice spoke. Sorry, it's a tense moment and I keep messing up, but it's... Okay. The voice still spoke with interest. Let me ask you a question. The finest general of Changhua, the pristine Jihujun, distant from all others, self-restrained and self-possessed for 30 years, a man so callous even Princess Mengzu's attentive care couldn't thaw him. Can't thaw him. The man's voice rose and fell, moving suddenly close and suddenly far. This time it seemed to press right up next to Moji's ears, breath humid. You and that General Gu, what relationship do you share? With a whistle, Shuairan struck, fiery rage making sparks burst from the whip. The phantom seemed to have expected this. He wasn't hit and dispersed to who knew where. You're so mean, officer. Looks like my guess wasn't far off the mark. Moji didn't answer. Hand over Gumeng, he snapped. Hand him over? I'm not stupid. He used to be the fiercest general of the Lao Kingdom. Even though his core has been broken, I still have methods by which to control him and revive his battle strength. The phantom was smiling. Why would I hand over such a strong soldier? He paused and his smile grew broader. In all of Changhua, you're the only person who can face him one-on-one, Jihujun. As long as I have him to guard me, no one else who comes here could hope to be a match for him. As for you, Jihujun. A suggestive lilt in that voice grew more pronounced. I have other plans. As the man spoke, the lingering sound drifted into the distance as if it were about to fade away entirely. Since you had the courage to come alone and enter this dreamscape for his sake, I must of course be a good host and let him serve you properly. He laughed softly. Jihujin, pleasant times with your lover are ever brief, so enjoy them while you can. Guys, what is going on? What is happening right now? Guys, what the fuck is happening right now? You, as if in answer to his wishes, a burst of red lit up in front of him, accompanied by a high, wavering voice. Someone was singing. Rain falls soft over Yuchi Pavilion, sun shines down on Genie Hall. Let wine and music flow for all. Mean, although their lives may seem, matters of ants are not so small. Moji knew that as soon as one entered the dream of longing's vision, it could not be broken from within. He would have to wait for the Emperor's reinforcements to arrive. Until then, he would be unable to avoid whatever illusory scenes unfolded before him. However, so long as he could maintain clarity of mind, it would be no trial to withstand. But at that very moment, the phantom's voice slithered once more from the depths of the dreamscape. Jihujun, I know what you're thinking. You mean to endure by means of sheer willpower, don't you? He snickered. Too bad. Even if you can endure, Gumeng might not manage. Moji tensed. What do you mean? Everyone says Jihujun possesses astonishing self-restraint, that his focus never wavers. Naturally, I wouldn't be so stupid as to rely on brute force. But now that Gumeng's lost his soul, he's nothing more than a pitiful, mentally fragile creature. Of course it's easier for me to make use of him. His words were faint, slow. When that ring of yours pointed the way for you, did it tell you that he'd been drugged? Cold shot through Moji's blood. He snarled. I'm what? I'm despicable? The phantom smiled. I only gave him some medicine to awaken his strength so he could better guard me. Good gentleman, Jihujun. What were you thinking? The phantom's voice was once more filled with delight. But you're not off the mark. I am truly shameless. Because the next drug I give him will be something else. Moji said nothing. You're not the only one I've tossed into this illusion. He's here too. The phantom's voice was unctuous. I don't know what that means. You can endure with your noble self-control, but can you bear to see him? That's enough, that's enough. Moji was so furious he wanted to let out a stream of curses. Who was this R-wordist in truth? Li Qingchen, the Lao Kingdom's cook, or some deranged, vengeful ghost? Humans are no more than desires given flesh. Some people indulge in sensual delights, others pursue the heights of reputation. But aren't the desires of passion and the desires of reputation both desire? The phantom laughed softly. What difference is there? Moji made no reply. Go on. Your Gumang Gaga awaits. What the fuck? The phantom's voice disappeared while the sound of music grew louder and louder. The opera singer's trilling voice was about to reach the clouds, winding like a venomous snake. In the shade will a kingdom rise, a lifetime's work etched in his eyes. Qi Zhuan's teachings only partially gleaned. When will the east wind wake me from this dream? With that final syllable, the fog surrounding Moji dispersed. He discovered that he was standing amid an expanse of brilliant lanterns. It was evening, and people came and went, passing back and forth like a weaving shuttle through the dazzling nightless dark. 2 guards stood before the extravagant, whitewashed, black-tiled doors in front of him, wearing blue spellcasters' robes with storm patterns and golden trim. 8 brilliant lanterns illuminated the path into the manor. The blue bat totem above the doorway glimmered brightly with spiritual energy, the insignia of Muranglian's clan. Why was he at Wangshu Manor? The illusory world created by Dream of Longing was usually linked to memories with which one didn't wish to part. Gumang was also in the dreamscape with Moji. It was probable that this scene was born not of Moji's inner demons, but rather those of the other man in the dream, the one who'd been fed hallucinatory drugs, Gumang. Even though Gumang's memories weren't whole, the illusion could draw from any fixation in his heart. But why would they manifest Wangshu Manor? Wangshu Manor, drugs, desire, past. These words floated through Moji's mind. When he thought about it again, he remembered something, and his elegant face instantly paled. Was it possible that the dreamscape had absorbed that particular part of Gumang's past? Moji cursed inwardly. His shadow swept over the arching eaves, toward a certain corner of Wangshu Manor. That's the end of the chapter. Thank you, Meatbud, for leaving cliffhangers literally everywhere. That's the end of the chapter. And that's where we're ending today. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine, guys. This is fine. Oh my god. It's Jover. I'm fine. I'm literally fine. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Oh my god. Okay, but doing this what's-his-face bad guy's lines, it's so good. His dialogue is so sexy to me. He's such a Like, he's such a classic villain, but like the good kind, you know? Like, so. His words are so slimy. I don't know how else to explain it. They're just like, they're perfect. They're perfect, and they're so fun to say. He's such. I want to know. I want to know more about him. But yes, he is a bad guy, and he did kill a lot of people, and yeah, all this bad shit. But like, what the fuck's going on, and why is this happening? And oh my god, no, I might have to read ahead for the next couple of chapters, um, to see if there's any particularly extensive, not safe for work, um, paragraphs, pages, or whatever. How cute! Oh no, that illustration is so cute. What the fuck? Okay. But yeah, that is. Yeah, we're on chapter 28 now. Of how many chapters are there? Huh? Oh, 20. I said 20. Okay, yeah. 28 out of 34. So we're close to the end. We only have like, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more chapters left? So that's what? 2, 3, 3 more. 3 more streams, probably? Of this first book? Oh boy. That is something. We might actually move on to a different book after this one. But we'll see. But oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. If this one ends on a cliffhanger though. No, 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 no. That's fine. But yeah, that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you feel great about that. I have to go to the bathroom real bad. Oh my god. Okay. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Um I hope you're okay during this. Well, these my fellow Americans. I hope you're okay during this season, this past couple of days. But yeah, take care of yourself, be safe, and wear a mask. Okay, bye.